says it.
No, he claims, now it's politically incorrect to not say Merry Christmas. So, play, sir. Play, maestro. Give me a little seasonal. A sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Fun Show here at Big TV. This is the December 18th edition of the Fun Show. Once again, it's only Michael and Archer. But next week, it will be Christmas Day, which means that we won't be here. So we wish you all a Merry Christmas, or in deference to the present occupant, we wish you Happy Holidays. Tomorrow will be the last evening of Hanukkah, so the holiday season is upon us. And in the spirit of the holiday season, I found a cartoon that I really liked, and it reads, "In keeping with the new spirit of America, I removed all the Jews, Arabs, Africans, and immigrants from my nativity scene. Nothing but sheep left, led by a jackass." Sounds about right. So happy holidays to you.
Perfect. All right.
One holiday is Battle Cry of Freedom.
Because you had to show us that with him at the end.
So we went directly to the Civil War, right? Well, today our ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, used to be, what did she used to be, a governor of something or something?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
And she's supposed to be?
She vetoed a resolution in the Security Council today, further isolating the United States from the rest of the world. The first time we vetoed something in 6 years, and all other 15 nations on the Security Council voted in favor. Once again, we were out in right field without a paddle. And yet, Nikki Haley adamantly determined that no, she wasn't embarrassed. The other 15 nations should be embarrassed. We're making peace. Yeah, right. You're making peace by alienating almost every other country in the world.
You've got it. If you're wearing your glasses, I'm going to wear mine.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, the current occupant gave a speech today on national security or foreign relations, or I think it was national security was his idea. Of course, like all his speeches, it was chewed up by his telling people all the wonderful things he does and how he's making America great, and any bunch of palaver which happens to be off topic. But it's he has recast China and Russia as our competitors. Now that's nice.
Wait a minute, Putin was called him up to thank him.
Oh, he told that story too.
Yeah,
in the middle of his speech.
Yeah.
But he's recast them as competitors, and how he's going to have good relations with them. And what was most important in his whole speech is what he left out. Because global warming is no longer a threat to the national security of the United States.
Coal is really being mined again.
I understand that the Interior Department called in some regional director of the National Park Service to chew them out for including references to global warming in their annual report. It is apparently banned. You are not allowed to either use or imply the concept of global warming.
You think ban goes with Bannon?
No, Bannon is now banned.
Ah, okay.
Omaroso is now banned.
I like to.
and and very shortly, I have a feeling Jared Kushner will be banned,
It could be banned, yeah.
taken out in handcuffs on,
Yeah,
on
well.
things.
Anyways, they were talking all week long about getting rid of Mr. Mueller.
Well, he at the present time, he still insists he's not going to fire Mueller.
That's what he says. That means tomorrow he can fire him.
Of course.
All right.
But the interesting thing is that they're also speculating that he'll pardon General Flynn. I mean, Flynn is now cooperating with Mueller and poses a real threat to the president. And so, but he's being leveraged to cooperate by the things that he's confessed to. So it naturally occurs to the current occupant that he'll just pardon him and then he won't have any incentive to cooperate with the special prosecutor anymore.
Right.
And isn't that almost exactly the definition of obstruction of justice?
Yeah, it seems to mean that, but to the rest of the Senate and the House of Congress, they don't know what that word is, obstruction of justice. I mean, the whole thing, that idea, I don't think it fits into there.
They're going to know exactly what it means in January of 2019.
Well, I hope so. We'll see. I hope you're right.
If he's still around, which is still a toss-up, that impeachment is going to hit the bin before the first day of Congress is over.
But even if they impeach him, he doesn't have to resign. They can come up with something about it, can't they? They can have a piece of some kind of legislation to dump him.
Well, no, I mean, if you're impeached, you have to go.
Well,
I mean,
Bill
if he's impeached,
was impeached.
well, if he's convicted of his impeachment,
okay.
I mean, if you lose in the Senate, of course, no president has been successfully impeached in American history, so we're not quite sure what would happen. But I have a feeling that the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate, or the Majority Leader of the Senate, could politely ask the Secret Service to please throw the guy on the other side of the fence. I mean, he could be the next one after Omarosa that gets led out.
Paul Ryan, I see in the papers that he might step down after the new year comes. I don't know if that could be. He says, no, I'm not.
Speculation.
They really.
They love to speculate on things, but
They think he's happier than ever before. Is it because of what's happening in the reform, the tax reform bill, that everybody in the world has to insert something? If they go on, it'll be 1,200 pages. It could be.
Yeah, but it'll all be handwritten in the margins.
Yeah, and nobody will know what it says.
You remember the guy holding it up and saying, "Can anyone here read this word? Does anyone know what this word means?" You know?
What about? I'm reading that nice.
Did you see the current occupant's judicial nominee being questioned the other day? Have you ever tried a case in state court? No.
No.
Federal court? No.
No.
Have you ever taken a disposition in state court? No.
No.
Ever taken one in federal court?
No.
Have you ever taken a disposition by yourself in the office? No. He was asked one legal question. I must admit there were a couple of them I didn't know the answer to, but he's asked one legal question after another, and he couldn't answer any of them. And the guy who was mercilessly grilling him was a Republican, and he was being appointed to the second highest court in the land. Fortunately, today, having watched YouTube, he withdrew his nomination, so we don't have to worry about him anymore.
Well, now they'll get somebody that'll say, "Well, I did have one case for a traffic stop."
Oh, wonderful! Yep.
And then there's the
I
children.
spent 6 months in night court.
Then there's the children's health care. They don't seem to care about it. There's millions of kids, borderline poverty and all the rest of it.
Oh, and they're not doing anything about the DREAM Act either.
No, nothing about almost 1 million kids and
Nothing useful. Nothing
No.
useful. So,
What did he say today about that train wreck? He
He was
brings
very-
up the fact that he's going to do something about infrastructure.
wasn't that supposed to be day one when he was campaigning?
Yeah.
Wasn't billion-dollar infrastructure day one? I mean, this year's running out, and so far, he's done nothing.
Nothing.
And speaking about nothing happening, how about all the people whose holiday is screwed up by a power failure at
In
the
fact-
Atlanta airport?
Oh boy.
I assume the power failure was sort of general in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
But it's
Thousands of flights were canceled.
its biggest impact is there. And this time of year, there's all these canceled flights, and they say, well, we won't have any charge for rebooking. How are you good luck having hundreds and hundreds of people try to rebook in the holiday season. Every flight is full.
Yes.
So if you're not in Atlanta, don't take a flight that goes through Atlanta.
Well, you can buy a drone in one of these stores.
If you're in Savannah, you better go to Boston by way of Chicago or St. Louis
From the train.
or something like that. Well, the trains are falling off the tracks and falling on the highways.
How can this guy? They showed pictures of that great big crazy turn on the
Well,
tracks.
They're gentle.
What?
They're gentle turns.
Well, yeah, but 89 miles an hour. I don't know.
Well, is that what it's supposed to be, or what he was doing?
That's they say what he was doing. They have it, I think. He was
Casey.
He's the guy says it's. This one of them says from NTSB should have been doing 30s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that was a Spanish train, a designed train.
Isn't
by
there?
the way.
Isn't there a song about Casey or something?
About
No. What's the
the train one?
What's the one about the engineer?
Should be coming round the mountain.
No. Some guy's name, I forget.
Oh.
Well, it appears to me that current occupant Junior, Donald J. Trump Jr.,
Junior.
he was out the other day with that idiot from Texas, the senator,
Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Oh boy, he's well loved.
And they had a big cookie about this big that had the crudest, most racially stereotyped picture of Obama on the cookie.
Oh.
And the guy who owns the restaurant where the picture was taken is seriously miffed about the whole thing.
I guess he would be. Yeah.
But he says, well, it was a private party, and my management had left before the cookie came out. What kind of way to run a business is that?
Okay.
That the management leaves before things come. And speaking of his family, it looks almost certain now, unless he's pardoned, that Jared Kushner is going to jail.
Well, you do say these things.
Apparently, I mean, what was it, 30,000 or 300,000 emails?
Yeah, 30,000, I think.
that-
No, but then they said 250,000.
Yeah. Anyway, tons and tons, and apparently about a third of them are Kushner's. And apparently, he was so impressed with being involved in the transition that he stuck his little nose in everything. And apparently, half of what he stuck his little nose in was totally illegal. You know? So his lawyers have now hired a public relations firm, which is usually a bad sign.
They're not cooperating, all the lawyers now, his lawyers. They were cooperating. Now they're not.
Cooperating with whom?
With Mueller. With Mueller, you know. Okay. You
Well,
want to
that's-
give the president credit for winning the war with ISIS?
Well, he wants to. That's one of his accomplishments, according to
that is
according to him.
Okay.
I don't know why he's not more popular in Iraq, you know, and things. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the boss indicates to me that it is now time for the Big TV Unrehearsed Thespian Society to have a shorthanded presentation for this evening, which has been extracted from the middle of the vault. Since we've been doing this for like 20 years, the vault's very deep.
Vaults has a lot of things
The
in it, but
vault's
they're
very
dusty.
deep.
Very dusty.
And this one is interestingly called Transparent.
That's a
And if you remember I doing it before, you are one of our most faithful viewers.
okay.
Action.
Okay, so you were a Democrat,
Well, you might say that.
but you are a Democrat.
A compassionate one.
Well, I'll accept that.
And you are a Republican.
Actually, a moderate one.
No, that's what I am.
Moderate what?
Moderate progressive.
Is that like a Democrat?
Well, it's more like right of center.
Center of what?
It's just politics.
I don't like labels.
And how are we to know?
I'm a fence sitter.
Listen to the candidates first.
You have to buy into the party philosophy,
Okay, then I'm a Democrat.
a liberal one.
I'm for everybody.
You're saying I'm not?
Well, you do prefer a special group.
Better educated, affluent. Yes,
No
yes.
problem there.
Both sides have good ideas, though.
You try to embrace both?
Not easy, not always easy.
Well, you've always been a conservative.
Well, my clothes, my lifestyle,
No flamboyance. Tradition counts with you.
conventional attitudes are fine.
Upper middle class.
I'd say lower upper.
That's presumptuous.
What if change is necessary?
How so?
How so? He could be a Whig, or you could be a Whig.
Or a Tory?
In the Great Depression of the 30s,
The 1929 stock market crash brought it all on.
it was a worldwide and different.
It was beyond our capitalist system,
President Hoover was preparing legislation.
but yet the voters believed Roosevelt would act.
He announced plans for changes.
He had new programs like the CCC, the WPA, the NRA.
Mass unemployment, families starving.
Government had to do something.
It was a financial disaster, global in scope.
The private economy could not deal with the enormity of it.
But we had weathered past crashes.
Yeah, but this one kept getting worse.
Devastating.
Republicans said, oh, things will improve.
Democrats said we couldn't wait.
Both sides made some sense.
Conservatives and liberals,
Across the ocean, militarists took hold,
left-wing communists, socialists in the Soviet Union,
and right-wing fascist reactionaries in Germany, Italy, Japan.
revolutionary dangers,
We were busy with our own troubles.
non-intervention, stay out of it.
Neutrality, don't take sides.
Here it was still the donkey versus the elephant.
New ideas from overseas seemed attractive to some.
Well, there was a lot of suffering in our country.
Hitler's Nazi Party appealed to many,
Stalin's Bolsheviks would solve all the problems.
but we still had millions out of work.
And this was peacetime for us.
Then we could sell to all the nations preparing for war.
Business and industry began to pick up.
FDR's New Deal helped.
Times got better.
We stayed out of the war all the way until Pearl Harbor.
Well, there was plenty of blame to go around.
So we won it in 1945, and then came the Cold War.
We fought communist regimes in North Korea and Vietnam.
And Castro's missile crisis in Cuba.
JFK faced down Khrushchev over it in '62.
Then it was defeating communism.
Nixon and Kissinger. Well,
And bringing down the Berlin Wall.
with Reagan, yeah. But spreading democracy has many lives and much money.
The majority here supported it.
Now it's Iraq and Afghanistan.
Republicans and Democrats.
Conservatives versus liberals.
Labels again.
Right versus left.
What's wrong with the middle?
Both sides chew you up.
But moderates are important in the process.
Hallelujah.
And so is religion.
The FBI, the faith-based initiatives, and the CIO.
What's wrong with redemption and forgiveness?
But praying and spying, wrong.
Creationism is here to stay.
And so is evolutionism.
J. Edgar feared communists.
Communists. That's it. And posses.
Whittaker Chambers and the Pumpkin Papers.
Alger Hiss and his typewriter.
America is for Americans.
And illegals, too.
Too late to ask David Koresh in Waco.
Yeah, Jim Jones gave out deadly sleeping potions.
Yeah, Kool-Aid in Jonestown.
Oh, boy. Senator McCarthy held aloft the list of State Department pinkos.
And Ho and Mao knew every one of them.
They say the pledge in English, don't they?
It's demagogues and demographics.
Those pointy heads talking ideology.
Snooty schools in the Northeast.
Bicycling is healthy, though.
So it's wealth, occupation, and education.
I still feel upper class.
But there's culture, too.
Kyle, you never go to the plays, symphony, ballet, museum?
I'm too busy working. Maybe later.
Blackout.
And if you believe Reagan brought down the Berlin Wall, then you believe Trump defeated ISIS.
Okay.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Well, let's see what I got over here.
So
I have
plastic bags are on the way out, but they're waiting almost a year to make it
a
happen.
year to make it happen. You got it.
I'm wondering whether that's so that they can use up all their stored inventory of bags.
I think it is.
You know, the funny thing is that the little stores don't have such a problem because their bags are generic, right? It's thank you for shopping with us, or, you know, that kind of stuff.
When you go out,
But the big stores, theirs are printed with their name. They can't send them to Duluth or Indianapolis or something, you know.
I like that commercial.
They're going to go by the bale load directly into the landfills.
I like that Duluth commercial. You ever see that one?
Which one? The one with the beavers attacking the guy's
No,
legs?
Yeah,
Or
the guy's wearing these tight shorts.
Yeah.
And he says they always fit and they don't no stink. And he's that always I'll buy it for that alone.
Yeah.
No stink.
Have you tried any?
Yes, I've tried them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a hole in the back where I've tried one. Okay. I kept sitting up and down and it's split. Okay. And in Venezuela, sad to say, and as you said earlier, but it's
Right here at home as well.
Yeah, they have all this malnutrition in that country. The kids aren't getting to eat anything. And
That's the simplest form of malnutrition. If you don't eat, you're going to have bad nutrition.
Yes, I'd say. Hey, what about
As
this?
opposed to eating the wrong stuff.
What about this Kazelwaki thing? When is that?
Kesawaki?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Kesawaki is our sister city
I know,
in Nicaragua.
but are you going to?
And
Oh, it's next
thanks-
week. All right.
Thanks to Chobe Hoy,
Yeah.
there was a very nice full-page ad in the
Tab.
tab.
Very good, too.
Which shows a lot of the things that
They do. The
we've
kids.
done in our sister city and the people who have helped us and all the restaurants who cooperated in our big annual shindig. And
That's
it's very
good.
nice. I have only one thing that I regret about the spread.
You were eating
I'm not in any of the pictures.
I know. I kept looking.
You kept looking?
I couldn't find
I am
it.
not in any of the pictures.
Okay, but
but
Senator-
maybe that's good from your standpoint,
Yeah,
folks.
maybe,
You know?
maybe. Yeah,
You know.
okay. I like Susan. What is it?
Collins?
Yeah, I like her. The Maine Republican senator.
Yes, she is the Maine Republican senator.
Yeah, she is.
The crucial test with Susan Collins will be,
51.
does she come back and vote against the tax bill,
Well, she still wanted ironclad guarantees about
which she can't get, and she knows she can't get, so she's still trying to fool her constituents.
She ain't gonna.
But
fool
when
those
she
guys.
voted for it before, she went home and hundreds of demonstrators met her at the airport and turned their back on her. And I think there's still a group occupying her office up
Good.
in Maine.
I hope so.
And
okay,
now the guy who really disappointed me was Corker.
I thought
Senator
so too.
Corker, who
Made all this noise.
said he was going to vote against it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's not running for re-election. And I believed that he hated Donald Trump almost as much as I do. And I was hoping that he'd be one of the two people we need to cross the aisle and send Mitch McConnell into retirement.
Into retirement. Very good.
I mean,
Too
wouldn't
bad.
it be wonderful?
It
No
would be.
Republican committee chairs, no more Trump appointees to any courts.
Yeah. That would
And
be.
all it takes is two Republicans to walk across the aisle.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe.
And one of them could even be McCain, because he doesn't have to be there
Yeah, he
to
isn't
do
going to
it.
be there. He says. So the Brits with the
Brits?
Prime
Are you
Minister
talking about our former occupants there?
May. Yeah, I'm talking about her. She's
Theresa
really,
May.
She's a real tough gal. She has all these problems, ups and downs. And
Iron
people,
Maiden 2, is that what it is?
They're always deserting. And anyways,
All right, my friend.
you think
looks
it's
to me-
time? Oh, we
Well,
still
it's
got
funny.
We got a couple of.
Yeah.
Looks like we got a couple. Anyways, she's.
What's
did
she
you say?
doing?
She's President Trump by phone. Warning him about terrorists. Wait a minute! It's not. It's about Trump was warning Putin about terrorists who were going to bomb.
We went from Theresa May to Putin?
Yeah, I'll come back to Theresa May, who's trying to get
Yes.
a
Well,
fair deal with the EU.
Trump worked that into his major speech
Yeah,
today.
Yeah.
That Trump called me up and thanked me for helping him out.
And
I mean, it seems that the major powers sharing information on terrorists shouldn't be surprising.
yeah.
It should be expected, because in whose interest is it not to rat out the terrorists?
True. Okay. All right. So now there was a story in the paper about this billionaire who's a philanthropist up in Toronto. He and his wife really are good people, and he started out as a pharmacist and built it into the biggest generic drug empire.
Really?
And they found him hanging, he and his wife, in their house. Somebody came in. He said he was writing.
Somebody hung them, or they hung
Yes,
themselves?
killed them and hung them.
Really?
It was a terrible story. They're nice
Well-
people. They deserve a better end than
And
that.
then on the not nice side is McKisson. McKisson, which is responsible for the vast majority of the opioid crisis.
Oh, yeah.
And the DEA built a beautiful case around them, wanted $1 billion fine, wanted their leadership to go to jail.
Yeah.
And nobody at the DOJ would agree to take the case.
No, you're
Obviously, they paid off,
right. Yeah.
I think it's time to strike the
Well,
keyboard.
you think so? I
Wish
guess-
everyone a happy holiday
okay.
season. We will see you in about 3 weeks,
And I hope
because
those-
I assume we won't be here on New Year's either.
Oh, well, we'll see.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, everybody, from the Fun Show here at Big TV. Enjoy your holidays, enjoy your time off, and come back in about 3 weeks.
Well, we'll
And
see.
with luck, we'll be here.
And with luck,
Bye.
we'll be here. Bye. We're still here. Okay. Well, there you are.